Hello everyone, Zdravo, kako ste? Srećna Nova Godina. This is Steven Jureshko of Restaurant Adventures with Steve Uri. Welcome to my first restaurant adventure of the year 2022. I hope this is going to be a great year for us all. Today's restaurant adventure is very special, one that is very dear to me. For the first time in many years, I have discovered a restaurant that serves food that is close to the heart of my Croatian heritage. So for today's restaurant adventure, I will be taking on a very personal culinary journey to experience the cuisine of Serbia, and at the same time, the cuisine of my father's country of Croatia. The name of the venue is Rakija Grill, and it is located in downtown Miami, Florida. Named after the potent brandy of both Serbia and Croatia, Rakija Grill has been open for approximately 2 years and is the only place I know of anywhere in South Florida that serves this type of Balkan fare. For this adventure, I was joined by my wife Beverly, my friend Tiger, and my friend Namphone, who is the owner of Nara Asian Creations Thai and Sushi Restaurant in West Palm Beach, Florida. Neither Tiger nor Namphone had ever experienced Serbian or Croatian food before. From the moment I walked through the door, I felt the homey atmosphere of a konoba, like the kind of rustic taverners that I used to enjoy whiling my time away on my father's island of Pashman in Croatia. In many ways, finding Rakija Grill was almost like coming home to my father's village. At Rakija Grill, reminders of Yugoslavia were everywhere, with a large map of the defunct nation displayed on the wall. There were kerosene lanterns hanging from the ceiling, along with casks that were fashioned into lamps. A large rack of wines decorated one of the walls. I was especially impressed by the presence of many gusla displayed throughout the restaurant. For those who don't know, a gusla is a type of one-string fiddle and is ornately carved with the head of an animal. I have one from when I was a child, from when I was visiting my family on the Dalmatian coast of pre-war Croatia, when it was part of Yugoslavia. Not long after we settled down, our food server, Slobo, came over to greet us. During the entire time we were there, Slobo took exceptionally good care of us, professionally tending to our every need. After speaking with Slobo, I soon found out he was from Knin, a city located in the hinterlands of Dalmatia in Croatia. I was very happy to hear that Slobo was from that city because my wife and I had been there in 1997. We started out by ordering wine. Tiger and I shared a bottle of red from central Serbia called Chavapchichi, or Black Stallion's Blood. It was a slightly sweet but very pleasant vintage with the taste of ripe red cherries. For a semi-sweet wine, I enjoyed it very much. To accompany our beverages, Slobo recommended the special Mediterranean Meze Platter. A Serbian version of a charcuterie board, this was an exquisite and elegant cross-section of Serbian hams, kulen salami, prosciutto, and smoked beef, along with sliced cheese. On the side was a bright orange-colored vegetable spread of red peppers, eggplant, and garlic called ivar. This is a very familiar condiment in Croatia as well. There was also a small pile of leap tower cheese and another spread that was a type of cold salad of carrots, peas, ham, and mayonnaise called Ruska Salata. On the side was a small pile of fresh Serbian-style ushtipsi bread chunks, served with kajmak, which is a sort of clotted cream with a cheesy yogurt-like flavor. On the appetizer menu was a culinary gem that I was very familiar with from my frequent trips to Croatia. This is called Borek. It is a savory pastry made up of layers of phyllo dough and is stuffed with feta cheese or feta cheese and spinach. For our meal, we chose the cheese with spinach. In Croatia, I have eaten it with cheese or spinach, with ground meat, or even with apples, almost like a strudel. We then continued our meal with the Shopska Salata, a cool and refreshing starter very similar to a Turkish choban salata or shepherd salad. The basic ingredients are sliced cucumbers, tomatoes, onions, and sliced green peppers, with a topping of ground feta cheese. This pretty much describes the typical daily salad of Dalmatia that my aunt, Srećna Zorka, used to prepare for our mid-afternoon meals. She flavored the vegetable medley with a dressing of homemade kvasina vinegar and homemade maslina ulja olive oil, but without any cheese. When I tasted the shopska salata at Rakija Grill, I felt like I was in Neviđana, sitting at my Srećna's dinner table. Our next course was a tour de force of mixed meats called miješano meso, or mixed meats. This was another dish that I used to enjoy at restaurants in the coastal cities of Zadar or Beograd na More. This was not usually made in my father's village. One of the meats was called Chavapchichi. Related to the Turkish kofte kebab, it is made of ground beef, lamb, and pork, formed into the shape of a sausage and grilled. Another Serbian specialty served on our platter was the Palacinka, made of the same ground meats. These were shaped into large patties, stuffed with cheese, and grilled. Also included with our platter was a sujukice veal sausage, along with slices of grilled chicken breast. This carnivore's feast was accompanied by the traditional ivar, a bowl of chopped onions, and kaymak. We all dug into the platter. The flavor of the meats was outstanding and very well seasoned. This mixed meat platter brought up strong feelings of nostalgia. Even though I've tried to make Chavapchichi at home, I can never quite get the same flavor or texture of the meat. Another dish evocative of my past visits to Croatia was the beef goulash with mashed potatoes. A delicacy of Hungarian origin, the thick and hearty stew was laden with carrots and onions in a tomato-based gravy. It was so tasty and paired perfectly with the mashed potatoes. The final main course was a special delicacy that I used to enjoy on my visits to the seafood-rich Dalmatian coast. This was the whole grilled Mediterranean sea bass called brancin, and was often prepared in Dalmatia by my Srećna Zorka or by my late cousin Ante Reshko. And luckily for me, the brancin that I was served at Rakija Grill did not disappoint at all. The succulent flesh was firm yet tender, with a perfectly grilled, slightly crunchy skin. True to my Dalmatian roots, I poured lots of olive oil on top to complement the flavor of this perfectly prepared piece of nostalgia. For dessert, we ordered a confection of Turkish origin. This was the baklava. I remember when my streets Tony would take trips into the coastal cities of Zadar or Beograd na More and bring back luscious pastries from the Muslim-owned Srećna pastry shops. My favorite was always the baklava. I enjoyed the rich and sweet yet slightly bitter flavor of the walnut filling. As for the Rakija Grill version, although it was different than what I was accustomed to, it was still delicious, with a nice slightly crunchy yet yielding crust. Another dessert we ordered at the Rakija Grill, which I don't ever remember seeing in Croatia, was the tulumba. A confection of Turkish origin, this was made of deep-fried pieces of dough and soaked in a sweet syrup. Since I had never had this before, this was a new experience for me. The third dessert was not Turkish, but was of ancient Roman or Greek origin, according to Wikipedia. These were the Palacinka crepes. The Rakija Grill version was delicious and addicting, filled with a Nutella hazelnut spread and garnished with raspberry jam and chocolate syrup. This was also a typical dessert that was eaten in Croatia, usually filled with a mixture of sugar and ground walnuts. To end my meal, I ordered a cup of rich, thick, and potent Turkish coffee, called Turska kava. This was brewed in a traditional conical-shaped copper pot called a jezve. In a small dish were cubes of sugar to sweeten the bitter, muddy brew. Going back to when I made my first visits to my father's village in Croatia in the late 1960s, at every mid-afternoon meal, my Srećna Zorka would boil up a pot of this sweet and strong black coffee. Here at Rakija Grill, it was brewed exactly like how my Srećna used to make it. It's so funny how a simple cup of coffee can evoke such powerful memories. To bring a final ending to my fantastic and nostalgia-evoking feast, we ordered 3 kinds of rakia, 1 loza grape, 1 apricot, and 1 golden quince rakia called Zlatna Dunya. A type of brandy popular throughout the Balkans and in Turkey. I remember my streets used to make loza rakia from grapes, shlivovica from plums, and orahovica from walnuts. So it goes without saying that I enjoyed each of these fine liquors very much. Another surprise on the menu that my wife pointed out was a soft drink called Culta. I was so excited to see this on the menu because back when I made my first trips to Yugoslavia in the late 1960s and in the early 1970s, there was a soft drink called Jugo Culta with a unique flavor that I could never figure out. It was Yugoslavia's answer to Coca-Cola, and it was one of my favorite soft drinks. Now called Culta, when I took a hit from the bottle at the Rakija Grill, it brought back such strong memories of my childhood visits to Yugoslavia. As far as I could tell, the flavor of the drink had not changed after all this time. To call my experience at Rakija Grill a mere restaurant review would be a gross understatement. My visit to this place was more of a pilgrimage and a journey back in time. But I am under no illusions. I know that Croatia is not Serbia and Serbia is not Croatia. The Yugoslav wars in the early 1990s put that notion to rest, and there are marked differences in the religious beliefs, in the music, and in the history. But I'm convinced that there is enough of an overlap in the foods, the language, the traditions, and even in the genetic makeup of the two peoples that made my experience at Rakija Grill something special, that made me feel warm and welcome. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this week's restaurant adventure. Thank you for tuning in. This is Steven Yureshko of Restaurant Adventures with Steve Yuri, signing off for now. Until next time, Živjeli! I doviđenja.